Good evening, everyone. Same rules apply. We can get started.
The captain, Harry Brook, will go with David first from the PA. Go ahead.
As ever, Harry, just your thoughts on that. You just keep finding ways to get the job done, and that you must be delighted with that.
Yeah, it was an awesome performance. We played the conditions and the situation perfectly today. I thought Salty was outstanding with the bat. Not his fluent self that everybody knows and how destructive he can be, but he's managed to get us to a good score there and a few decent partnerships at the end as well. And then the bowling was just phenomenal. We've obviously had a lot of experience here already, playing 3 games against Sri Lanka, and the main message was just the belief. We knew that we defended a 130 score before, and with them extra 17 runs or whatever, we had the faith.
Will's come to the fore with bat in the last game and ball in this game. What was the decision behind giving him the new ball? I think the last time he did it, he got panned a bit by Australia, but was there ever any doubts about giving it to him, given the character he is, and like I say, given how well he's done over the last few weeks? No
doubts at all. It was the second over was always going to be between Jaxie and Dawson. Spin played a big part in there in our innings batting, and I knew he was going to play a big part in our bowling innings, and he started us off beautifully along with Joff.
And just a word on Phil as well. He did so well at the top of the order. He's had a couple of low scores, hasn't batted beyond the power play, but showed what class act he is today. Yeah,
he like I said a second ago, that 60s won us the game really. The way that he's played it, like I said, it wasn't his destructive and fluent self that he usually is and can be, but he's played the situation and the surface perfectly there.
Is he all right? He seemed to be cramping at the end. He looked a bit tired.
Yeah, I think he was just a bit tired with the heat and the humidity, but he'll be fine. Yeah.
Simon and then Richard, please.
You've spoken several times about the last warm-up match you had here and how important that was for the team. And I guess here we saw that as demonstrated as powerfully as possible. Like, how important was that game when you got to half-time with a fairly disappointing score?
Today?
Yeah.
Yeah, that series was a perfect warm-up. It'd have been stupid, well, not warm-up, but a great bilateral series to come here and play against a team who were going to be in the World Cup and hosting the World Cup, and this ground was going to play a big part in the World Cup, so it's good to come here and have them experiences and play on this surface against a very strong side as well, and that's held us in good stead so far.
How was batting on that surface? Because only Will and Phil looked to get to grips with it really.
Yeah, it probably wasn't as bad as the scores say, but it was very slow, and both sides with the spinners bowled exceptionally well. You could obviously tell the modes of dismissal were caught and bowled and lack of pace, and we had a chat before going out there with Rash and Dawson. Jaxie was like, we didn't really need to change our lines, it was more changing our paces and trying to make them make a mistake.
Given the way Sri Lanka have batted in this tournament, particularly I suppose against Australia, but how confident were you really at the end of your innings, and could you really envisage winning by 51 runs at that point?
We obviously knew that we were slightly under par. We probably thought that 160, 165 was par, but the lads never lost faith really. The main message was out to go out and fight, and we knew we were going to be in a little bit of a dogfight and just take whatever you can in your body to get out there, and whether it wants to be niggly getting into the batters or whatever, but just make sure that we're on from ball one, and I thought we were exceptional tonight.
It just felt the celebration of that second Will Jacks wicket was, it looked from where we were sitting that was when the belief really kicked in. That was really kind of powerfully celebrated. Is that how you felt?
Yeah, he's been a very good player for them as well, Ratnayake. We knew that he was probably their best player of spin, the way that he runs down the pitch as well. So to get him out first ball was a very crucial part in the game for us. And yeah, like I said, we all had the belief and we all wanted it as much as each other.
Richard,
so
Simon?
You mentioned that half-time team talk, and given what I know what you're saying, but given your sort of group stage, and you admitted you never really got go in there, did you feel really confident that you could actually do that based on what you'd seen previously? Because it was quite some time ago, and you've sort of been stop start. What were you thinking personally? I know the team messages, but were you sort of fearful that you hadn't got enough runs on the board?
There's always that little bit there, but I knew and I had complete faith in the bowlers that we were going to go out there and do that. And the way that Joff started in that first over, only going for 2, and then Jaxie to come on and do a similar job as well, was just the perfect start for us. And then obviously we managed to get the rewards from that start.
I want to ask you about Jofra actually. He really ran in, and I know his job is to run in hard, but he seemed to have a real bit between his teeth tonight, and he really ran in, hitting 90 all the time. Was that something very sort of focused to give his, hit the ball, hit the bat hard?
Didn't really have to say that to him. I think that was a given, really. We like you say, we kind of knew we were under par, and it was always going to be a little bit tricky. And the way that he started was awesome, and him bowling 145 every ball was great to see. And he got us off to the perfect start.
And just for me, what can this performance do for you going forward? Because we've kept talking about the group stage. Does it feel like this could kickstart you?
Yeah, definitely. And look, we still haven't had that perfect game with the bat. We haven't managed to get the starts and the big scores that we'd like, and everybody likes watching. But I think that's quite an exciting prospect. In my eyes, I see that as something coming very soon, and with the likes of Joss Butler not coming off, and Jacob Bethel, myself, Tom Banton not getting big scores, and we still managed to get over the line and get the job done is awesome. And then hopefully them rewards can come a little bit later down the line for them lads with the bat.
Could I just ask you, going back to Will, he's had quite a big winter, 4 tests in the Ashes, bit of a bumpy ride at times, but he keeps sort of showing a lot of character and coming back and contributing with bat or ball. Can you just talk about what his personality is like, over the last few months?
Yeah, he's a very competitive lad. He was annoyed when he got out tonight, and I think after his first over he was like, I always bowl better when I'm annoyed. So that was one of the reasons why I kept him on and bowled him 4 overs. But he's just that perfect player, really, and he's the jack of all trades. He can do everything, and he's awesome in the field with the bat, and then like we've seen tonight, he was very good with the ball.
Okay, 3 more. Fernando, Matt, and then we'll finish the gentleman with the hat at the back. Can you pass the mic down? One each, please.
Harry, you mentioned earlier that there was a choice between Dawson and Jackson to bowl that power play. What was it that made you go with Jackson in the end?
It was the short boundary, left hand, right hand, and it would have been the left hander hitting to the short boundary. So it was the last minute decision. But if there was 2 right handers in, then Dawson would have probably gone.
Matt, please.
Jofra and Will's celebrations, what's going on there? Hand signals, and what was the deal with that?
I have no idea what they are. I didn't even see them, so I don't know where they've got them from.
And I think Will got engaged after the Sydney Test, did he? He's obviously made an Ashes debut, gets engaged, wins a match for England at a T20 World Cup. Which do you think he'd say was his best moment of the winter?
Very good question. That's not for me to answer, but he's had 3 Man of the Match awards so far in this World Cup, and I still don't even think he's played his best cricket yet. So that's another exciting thing that we can hopefully witness when he gets going with the bat as well at the back end.
And Jofra obviously was injured during the Ashes. He had a really good Ashes when he was on the field, gets injured. Was there ever any doubt that he was going to be fit at any point? And did you ever how desperate were you that he would get here, knowing how important a part?
Yeah, I think when he got injured in the Ashes, it was more of a medical team to try and get him ready for the World Cup, because we knew he wasn't going to be able to play another game in the Ashes. So they've obviously done really well behind the scenes, the medical team, and to get him back on the park probably slightly earlier than what he was meant to be.
Last one, please.
Yeah, Harry, you spoke about Phil Salt being outstanding and the bowling was phenomenal, but your captaincy while defending such a modest target was superb. Will you please talk us through the strategy part as far as the bowling is concerned, the way you employed the choke?
Thank you. It's just a matter of having faith in the bowlers, really, and trying to make sure that the favour's in their hands rather than the batter's hands. And the boys have done an outstanding job. And so far in my captaincy, when we've had low scores to defend, we've had that little bit more edge about us, and we've managed to get over the line. And like I said before, the messaging was to go out there and fight, and fight we did, and we performed outstanding there with the ball and in the field.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to Harry.
Thank you.
Birthday to him.